Hello, Trevor here from Double Bill Movies. Right, I've just finished watching Psycho 2. The other night I watched Psycho. That was the very first time viewing for me. In fact, all of these Psycho films I have never seen before. So, there's the lovely Arrow box set that or most of us are getting on Monday. Yes, I got mine early. I think it was just down to postal system, not Arrow sending it to me early on purpose. Now, in my unboxing video, I had a question. Is the same Universal Master used for the Arrow version? And the answer is yes. So, if you have this box set, obviously you have this disc. But when you get this box set, and obviously this is the disc you get. Now, okay, the face is different, but the content is exactly the same. Now, the reason being for this, Arrow have had to license these 4 films from Universal, and there will be an agreement. So the license will only allow certain things. So my guess is that Arrow were only allowed to put an Arrow image on the disc face to help differentiate it from the Universal one. There may be like an Arrow logo or something added to the disc, or maybe not, I can't remember. But I wasn't looking out for it then. Basically, the discs are exactly the same, so there would have been another replication run, except with the Arrow image on rather than the Universal one. Now, this is not Arrow being cheap or anything like that. Like I said, this is to do with the license. This would have saved Arrow thousands of pounds, a hell of a lot of money. So just quickly, to manufacture a Blu-ray, say it costs £5,000. To do the same but in 4K, it's 3 times as much. So we've got 4 discs here. In fact, we have 5 discs. But now, Psycho 2, Arrow already had a Blu-ray release of it. So I would imagine they still had the license. And for Psycho 2, there is a brand new 4K restoration. Now, I'll get to the transfers in a minute. So, yeah, my first time watching Psycho, can you believe it? Well, I haven't seen every film ever, but as I said in my unboxing, I did get to witness the Universal Studios demonstration of the shower scene. And what an incredible demonstration that was. And although at the end of Psycho, it is basically explained what has happened, there are still essentially 2 characters involved, and you still don't really know which one of the 2 did it. Now, we know physically who did it, but mentally who actually did it. So the mystery of we never find out who was the killer kind of still stands. And the same goes for Psycho 2. I was really impressed with Psycho 2 as well. I had a lot of people say in the comments of my unboxing video that the sequel was a very good sequel, and I would agree. I have to admit, for the first sort of 45 minutes or so, I was sitting there thinking, yeah, this is not that great. But then the reveal happened, and I was like, okay, now this is starting to get good. But before I forget about Psycho, I do have some images to show you that I took from my big screen. Sadly, I don't have any other SKU to give you a comparison, no DVD or no Blu-ray. Usually when I do reviews now, I do a comparison between a previous Blu-ray or DVD version that I have and the new 4K, so you can see the difference. But I guess most of us have already got or had this Universal box set, so have seen Psycho in 4K. I didn't think to check the audios because ultimately I watched the uncut version, so the longest version, and I would have picked the original mono version to get that original 1960s theatrical release experience, especially as I have it on the big screen. But I forgot. I was a bit excited, I suppose, to sit and watch it, and I ended up having the Dolby, not the DTS-X, not Dolby Atmos. There is no Dolby Atmos on this disc. Now I don't have ceiling speakers, so of course my amp just downgrades the audio to 7.1. It sounded fantastic. I could have easily been watching a film that was made last year regarding the audio. Excuse me. And it was really, really immersive. Very, very impressive. Very well steered between the surround channels, and just very smooth. It really, really helped with what I was seeing on the screen, and it really sort of put me, and my wife actually, my wife joined me. Now she had seen it before. That's how she knew that this cover, this slip is representing the shower curtain, which I didn't get because I didn't know. Anyway, so yes, the DTS-X audio on Psycho, if you haven't seen the Universal disc, when you get this, you will be seeing the Universal disc. It is very, very good. And the 2.0 mono sounded really sort of full, and there was a lot going on, and it really, you could see why they managed to do such a brilliant mix in you know, I guess 11 channels or 12 channels, 11.1, 10.2, whatever you want. So yes, Psycho is brilliant. Alfred Hitchcock, well, what a genius. I like how early his little cameo was, just seeing a side profile of him through the window of the estate agents. And Anthony Perkins, well, what an actor. Every little nuance that he put into his performance was just perfect. Now, I'm not an actor, but I do know a fair bit about it. And, you know, I know a good performance when I've seen one. I know an exceptional performance when I've seen one. And watching Psycho, I saw an exceptional performance. Yeah, you kind of get the impression, when you haven't seen Psycho, that the film is about this lovely lady, and forget her name. Oh, of course it's Janet Leigh, isn't it? Jamie Lee Curtis's mother. But, you know, well, no, she's not in it for that long, because we've got to have the shower scene at some point, and it's quite early on in the film. Very well done. I mean, it was a couple of decades ago that I went to Florida and went to Universal Studios. So essentially it was like watching it new. Anyway, so yes, Psycho is brilliant. You know the transfer, because if you've got the Universal disc, then you're watching exactly the same thing. And like I said, that's not Arrow being short, that's just what their license agreement is with Universal Studios. Okay, so on to Psycho 2. Like I said, Arrow have a Blu-ray. I thought about getting it. I was thinking, but other things became a priority, and now I'm glad I didn't get it, because for them to announce this 4K box set, I jumped on the pre-order, and I ordered straight from Arrow Direct, as I always do when I order from a boutique label. I always go direct to the label. They get way more benefit from us doing that than going through other outlets. But of course, it's up to you how you purchase yours. The picture on Psycho 2, again, I have some images to show you. I was slightly disappointed, but film is a very finicky thing. You can get one reel that you'll put through the camera, and when you print off you know, a master, it will look amazing, and from perhaps the same batch it will come out really quite bad, quite poor quality. And you know, there's no sort of rhyme or reason why that seems to happen. There were a few scenes where the 4K looked absolutely phenomenal, but I have to say, for the most part, the picture was very noisy. There is a heavy grain structure, but there was a it kind of went beyond grain. It was just noise. Obviously not audible noise. It wasn't, the audio was lovely and clean, but the video, the image was not amazing, and I'll be able to show you that in one of the screenshots I took. But it didn't detract from the film as such. If anything, it sort of added to it. Yes, it's, you know, it's an early 80s film, and it's supposed to be 22 years after the original Psycho. But it's a horror film, and you know, grittiness kind of helps with these things as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, Vera Miles. She plays Lila Loomis in Psycho 2, who of course was Lila Crane, the sister of Marion Crane from Psycho. There we go. Right, so bonus wise on Psycho 2, everything from the Arrow Blu-ray is ported over, but there is an additional commentary, so that makes 2 commentaries. But like I said, the 4K restoration was done by Arrow, and so it wasn't just like they used the master that was for the Blu-ray, because the Blu-ray I think was only a 2K restoration, something like that. So yes, this is a brand new restoration for this version of Psycho 2. Okay, so let's have a look at these images. So let's go into the first one. This was a really nice image. The picture quality was really impressive for this. You know, I never, like I said, this was the first time watch, so I didn't watch it on the Universal disc. Essentially, I have just watched it on the Universal disc, as I just explained. I won't explain again. Yes, look at the fine detail. Very lovely fine structure, grain structure, and all this, that and the other. Now this gentleman, if I'm right, is in The Thing, and he's the one that gets strapped to the sofa and is the last to be released, and he gets rather angry when he shouts that he wants to be untied from the chair. So that was cool to see him in an earlier film. And if we go this way, so this is in the rain, and it's obviously dark now, but again, lovely image. Very pretty lady, isn't she? And in this one, very iconic scene with his Alfred Hitchcock's famous push-pull. So basically the camera zooms in, but the focus pulls back, and that's how you get that sort of elongated shot. And of course it was famously used in Jaws. But yeah, so brilliant image, nice and crisp and clear, lots of detail. Now obviously this is on a projector screen, so the black levels will be deeper and darker, and you'll have better contrast if you have an OLED TV. If you have a regular LED TV, then you're going to have a similar kind of contrast and image to what you're seeing here. Still always going to be a lovely looking, and this was my first black and white 4K viewing. Then let's go on to Psycho 2. Right, so this is where I show you how noisy the image is. there we go. That's not pixelation or anything. That is just, and it's kind of, it's not fine grain either, is it? It's very noisy. That's what I mean by noise. I also think the image is slightly too bright. At one point during the film, I actually turned the brightness on my projector down and I felt the image looked better. Now I know there's been lots of discussions with various 4Ks about them looking too dark. Where actually I think that's incorrect. Blu-ray has been too bright. So this is a better shot. The quality of this image was much better. So there's Norman at the diner, and as I zoom in, it's just more grain. It's not so much noise like we saw earlier. But I'm trying not to do this too quick because it can be a bit weird for you to look at. But there you go, lovely colour palette. So there is a nice 4K image here. This one, and there we go. There's Lila Loomis, Vera, as we established earlier. So this is also, oops, come here. Nice crisp image. So yes, there are aspects of the film that are really, really nice 4K. Now I don't have the ability to do Dolby Vision, so it's possible that the image may look even better with Dolby Vision. So any of you have the means of multiple HDRs, let me know please, if the Dolby Vision does look better than HDR10, which is what I can do. And then the last image, again, this to me, it's nice, but it's too bright. Now, okay, I know it's a very nice sunny scene. It's California. So I think it's slightly overexposed, the image, the film cell. But there you go. Anyway. So there we are, the first two Psycho films from this lovely box set. Once I get around to watching the other two, then I will do another video, like this one. So I hope that doesn't put you off purchasing it. I don't think they can look any better. Like I said, Arrow did the restoration for Psycho 2 in 4K. And I think that's the best it's going to be. Anyway, so if you like that video, please give it a thumbs up. I've gained quite a few new subscribers, so hello to you. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take it easy.